A ruthless billionaire forces his own son to marry a beggar girl, and the entire city whispers about the deal before the wedding day even arrives. People call it punishment, a warning, a cruel joke. Yet no one truly understands why a man with limitless power would drag his family into something so extreme. The son looks trapped, the beggar girl looks lost, and the billionaire gives no explanation at all. Everyone waits for the fallout, expecting scandal, disaster, or a breakdown. But the truth behind this forced marriage is far more dangerous than anyone imagines. And one moment is about to change everything. The morning rush had just started outside a busy grocery store in downtown Seattle when Lily stepped out from the side alley, brushing dust from her thrift store jacket. She looked tired, but steady, carrying a small cardboard sign tucked under her arm, the kind she only used when things got rough. Most people walked past without seeing her. Some glanced, judged, and kept going. A few whispered, as if poverty were something contagious. But Lily didn't flinch. She had learned to stand still in a world that refused to look her in the eye. Across the parking lot, a sleek, black SUV pulled up, turning heads instantly. Out stepped Daniel, the son of Warren Hale, the billionaire known for his sharp suits and sharper shadows. Daniel looked like he had stepped out of a world that never saw rain. Clean-cut, pressed shirt, expensive watch. People greeted him with polite nods, quick smiles, and the kind of warmth reserved only for wealth. Lily watched him for a moment, not with envy, but curiosity. It wasn't his clothes. It was the distant look he carried, like someone walking with a weight he wasn't allowed to drop. Then Warren himself arrived, stepping out of a second car with the stiff confidence of a man who expected the ground to move for him. His gaze swept the crowd, cold and assessing. When his eyes landed on Lily, something hardened. A few bystanders followed his stare and murmured. Someone snickered. Another stepped away from her, as if afraid to be associated. Warren walked directly toward her. Lily stiffened, unsure why a billionaire would bother approaching someone like her. Daniel watched from behind, tense, as if he already knew something she didn't. And when Warren stopped only inches from her, the whole sidewalk went quiet, waiting for a reason that none of them could imagine yet. Before Warren could speak, a soft cry came from behind the bus stop bench. Lily turned first, quicker than anyone else. A small boy, no older than 7, had dropped his backpack and was struggling to gather scattered notebooks before the rushing crowd stepped on them. People walked around him, annoyed or indifferent, but Lily didn't hesitate. She knelt beside him, shielding the papers with her hands. "Take your time," she murmured, helping him tuck everything back into the worn bag. The boy sniffed. "Thanks, nobody stopped." Lily offered a small smile. "Doesn't matter what they do, you're okay." Daniel watched them, surprised by the ease and warmth in her voice, something he realized he hadn't heard much of in his own home. Even Warren paused, his expression unreadable, when Lily stood and gently wiped dust from the boy's cheek. The passers-by finally noticed her, not as a beggar, but as someone who cared when they didn't. The boy's mother rushed over, breathless, apologizing as she grabbed his hand. She looked at Lily, embarrassed. "Thank you, really." Lily shrugged softly. He just needed someone. Daniel felt something shift inside him then, a quiet pull he couldn't explain. Warren's jaw tightened, as if the moment only confirmed a decision already made. Daniel stepped closer, trying to ease the tension his father had left hanging in the air. "You, handled that pretty well," he said, sounding unsure, as if compliments were foreign territory. Lily gave him a sideways look. Picking up notebooks? I think I can manage that. He huffed a small laugh, surprised he even had one to give. No, I mean, you stepped in before anyone else did. Most people don't. Are busy looking at their own shoes, she replied, or their phones. Daniel nodded, glancing at his polished dress shoes, and she caught it. Her grin softened. Don't worry, yours are clean enough to avoid judgment. That bad, huh? Painfully fancy, she teased. For a moment, their worlds brushed, his polished, hers rough. But the gap didn't feel so big. He shifted, rubbing the back of his neck. Look, I'm sorry about my father. When he's focused on something, he forgets people are people. I noticed, Lily said, but there was no bitterness in her tone. You're different from him. Daniel blinked, almost startled by how much he wanted that to be true. She tucked a loose strand of hair behind her ear. So Daniel with the fancy shoes, what did your father want with me? He swallowed, unsure how to answer, and for the first time, he wished he knew. What Lily didn't know, what no one on that sidewalk knew, was that Warren Hale hadn't come to the grocery store by chance. For weeks, he had been receiving quiet updates, discreet photographs, and short reports tied to her name. Lily Carter, age 23, homeless for almost a year, former community college student, no criminal record, no known family left nearby, a girl who slipped through society without leaving a mark. But buried deep in a file Warren had locked in his private study was a detail he hadn't shared with his son or anyone else. Lily's father once worked for the Hale Corporation, not in an office, not in a position anyone respected. He was a night shift janitor who reported unsafe conditions in a warehouse 2 years earlier. And that report, ignored by a supervisor trying to protect quarterly numbers, led to an accident that cost Lily's father his life. Warren discovered the truth only months ago, hidden under layers of internal mistakes, cover-ups, and corporate negligence from people far below him. But guilt didn't soften him. Guilt made him angry, not at Lily. At the idea that his empire carried a stain that could one day rise to the surface. A stain with a name. Instead of facing the scandal, Warren crafted a plan. Tie Lily to the Hale family in a way that bound her silence. Make her part of them before she could ever turn against them. Control the damage before damage controlled him. His son, Daniel, was the centerpiece of that plan. Daniel, however, knew none of this. He only sensed his father's urgency, his cold insistence, and a pressure that made no logical sense. He didn't know he was being positioned as a shield. And Lily, standing just a few feet away, hadn't the faintest idea she was walking toward the truth that had shaped Warren's every move. A truth that now hovered dangerously close to breaking open. The days that followed moved faster than Lily expected. Warren summoned her to the Hale estate under the claim of a proposal. Though neither she nor Daniel fully understood what that meant yet. While Warren disappeared into meetings, Daniel was left to guide her through the expectations of his family's world. In the grand kitchen, he tried to teach her how to pronounce the names of foods she had never tasted. She laughed when he corrected her, only for him to mispronounce one himself. He reddened. She teased him until he finally smiled again. Later, he showed her how to navigate formal greetings. Lily practiced walking across the polished floor without tripping. On her third attempt, she nearly slipped. Daniel caught her elbow. She joked that the floor was judging her. He said the floor judged everyone. Afternoons were spent in the garden, a quiet break from the house's pressure. Lily asked questions about his life, real ones, the kind he wasn't used to answering. He talked about college classes he quit, a music hobby he hid, dreams he didn't dare say aloud. She listened without judgment. In the evenings, they reviewed simple etiquette. Lily tried, stumbled, laughed, and tried again. Daniel watched her determination with growing admiration. Piece by piece, they learned from each other. And without noticing, the distance between them began to fade. It happened late one evening after a long day of practice, when the house had finally gone still. Daniel walked Lily back to the guest room Warren had assigned her. The hall dim and quiet, the kind of quiet that made every small sound feel louder than it should. Lily stopped near a window overlooking the dark yard, her hand resting lightly on the sill. "I never thought I'd end up in a place like this," she said softly. "It doesn't feel real most of the time." Daniel stood beside her, close enough to sense her unease. "It doesn't feel real to me either," he admitted. "Not the house, not the rules, not whatever my father is planning." She glanced at him, searching his expression. "You don't want this life, do you?" He hesitated. "I don't know what life I want. I just know this one never felt like mine." The honesty surprised her. She turned back to the window, pulling her jacket tighter, though the hallway wasn't cold. "I don't think I've ever belonged anywhere," she murmured. "Not since my dad. Well, not in a long time." Daniel watched the way her voice softened around the memories she didn't fully share. "You belong more than you think," he said quietly. She looked up at him then, truly looked, at the worry in his brow, at the softness he tried to hide, at the way he seemed less like a billionaire's son and more like someone searching for solid ground. "Daniel," she whispered, "why are you being kind to me?" He swallowed, unable to answer quickly. His gaze dropped to her hand on the windowsill. Steady, warm, close. He almost reached for it. Almost. "I don't know," he said, voice lower now, "but I can't seem to stop." The moment stretched, fragile and full. Lily felt her heartbeat rise, unsure if she wanted to step back or step closer. And when she finally exhaled, the air between them changed, quiet, deep, dangerous, in a way neither of them was ready to admit out loud. The next afternoon, Warren arranged a small gathering in the estate's front hall. Nothing formal, but enough to bring in a handful of business partners and relatives. Daniel had warned Lily it would be uncomfortable, but she wasn't prepared for the sharp eyes that followed her the moment she walked in. Among the guests stood Claire, a polished family acquaintance who had known Daniel since childhood. She carried herself with the confidence of someone who assumed she belonged everywhere. When she saw Lily at Daniel's side, her polite smile thinned into something colder. "Daniel," Claire called as she approached, "your father said you were spending time with someone new." Lily felt the pause like a slap. Daniel stepped slightly in front of her, protective without meaning to. "Claire, this is Lily. People don't just end up in houses like this by accident." A few guests whispered, glancing at Lily as if she were a spectacle. Heat crept into her cheeks, but she held her ground. "I didn't ask to be here," she said calmly, "but I'm trying to respect the invitation." Claire's eyes narrowed at Lily's composure. "Well, I hope you understand the pressure Daniel's under. The Hale name has expectations." Daniel cut in sharply. "Claire, enough." But Claire only leaned closer, lowering her voice. "You really think this girl can survive in your world?" Lily's stomach tightened. Daniel sensed it and reached for her hand, not holding it, just touching, steadying. The gesture, small but real, was enough to set every whisper in the room swirling. and Claire's glare promised trouble that had only just begun. That night, after the guests left and the house settled into silence, Daniel found Lily alone on the back porch, staring at the yard as if trying to breathe away the sting of the afternoon. She didn't hear him approach. She didn't need to. He didn't speak. He only watched her for a moment, guilt tightening his chest. He knew Claire wouldn't stop, and he knew his father had plans that Lily didn't understand yet. Plans that would hurt her more if they continued unchecked. So, after Lily finally went inside, Daniel made a decision he didn't fully think through. He slipped into Warren's private office, a room he never entered without permission, and searched the drawers until he found the folder with Lily's name, the one his father guarded too closely. Daniel didn't read all of it. He only saw enough to know Warren had targeted her intentionally, enough to know Lily had been pulled into something she never deserved. Without hesitating, Daniel took the folder, tucked it inside his jacket, and left the office quietly. He didn't know what he would do with it yet. He only knew he had to protect her. And for the first time, he was willing to defy his father to do it. The next morning, Warren called everyone to the study with a tone that allowed no refusal. Lily stood near the doorway, unsure why her presence was required, while Daniel hovered beside her, hiding the folder inside his jacket. Warren didn't waste time. "This has gone on long enough," he said, turning toward Daniel first. "You were meant to follow my lead, not undermine it." Daniel stiffened. "What are you talking about?" Warren's eyes sharpened. "You took something from my office." The room froze. Lily looked at Daniel, confused. Daniel didn't deny it. Warren stepped closer, his voice low, but slicing. "Give it to me." Daniel pulled out the folder and placed it on the desk, but he didn't step back. "She deserves to know," he said. "All of it." Lily's stomach dropped. "Know what?" Warren exhaled once, annoyed at losing control of the moment. "Fine. She wanted the truth, then let her hear it." He opened the folder and tapped the first page. "Your father's death wasn't a random accident. It happened inside one of my warehouses." Lily blinked slowly, her breath catching. My dad?" Daniel moved closer to her, ready to steady her, but she stepped away without meaning to. Warren continued, unbothered by her trembling. "For months, I've been cleaning up the mistakes from that incident. My company could face lawsuits, investigations, damage that spreads far beyond one tragedy. I needed to ensure that you," he pointed directly at Lily, "didn't become a threat." Her voice cracked. "A threat? I didn't even know." "That's exactly why I needed control," Warren said coldly. "Bringing you into this family protects all of us." Lily stared at him, horrified. "You wanted Daniel to marry me, to silence me?" Daniel's face collapsed. "Lily, I didn't know, I swear." She stepped back again, heart pounding. "I trusted you, both of you." The truth hit harder than any insult, any judgment, any whisper. It wasn't just betrayal. It was a reminder of everything she'd ever lost. And the boy who had almost taken her hand the night before suddenly felt like a stranger, standing in someone else's shadow. Lily didn't remember leaving the study. She only remembered the shaking in her hands, the blur in her vision, and the hollow ringing in her ears as she walked down the long hallway and out the back door into the cold morning air. She made it as far as the small stone path near the garden before her knees gave out. She sank onto the ground, gripping the edge of a planter box as if it could keep her from breaking apart. Her father's death, used as leverage. Her future, twisted into some kind of shield. And Daniel, kind, gentle, warm Daniel, caught in it without telling her the truth. She wanted to scream, but the sound stayed trapped inside her chest. Footsteps approached slowly, careful not to startle her. It wasn't Daniel. It wasn't Warren. It was Mrs. Keller, the estate's longtime housekeeper, a woman with silver hair, pulled into a neat bun, and eyes that had seen more than she ever spoke about. She had always kept a respectful distance from Lily, but today she crouched down beside her, close enough to offer comfort without crowding. "I heard what happened," Mrs. Keller said softly. "This house has a way of breaking good hearts." Lily wiped her face, embarrassed. "I didn't ask for any of this. I didn't know I was walking into something so cruel." Mrs. Keller nodded slowly. "Warren Hale is a powerful man, but not a wise one. Power makes people act out of fear, and fear makes people hurt others before they face themselves." Lily swallowed hard. "Why didn't Daniel tell me?" Mrs. Keller sighed. "Because he's been trapped in his father's shadow his whole life. And you were the first person he cared about without permission." Lily closed her eyes, the words cutting deeper than she expected. "You don't heal by running from the pain," Mrs. Keller continued gently. "But you don't heal by carrying someone else's guilt either. Decide who you want to be in this story, not who they want you to be." Lily drew a shaky breath. For the first time since the reveal, she felt a small, steadying anchor in the chaos.
Daniel found her in the garden just after sunset. The sky was dim, the air cooler, and Lily stood with her back to him, arms crossed tightly. He stopped a few feet away, unsure if he even had the right to step closer. "Lily," he said quietly, "please, just hear me out." She didn't turn. "You knew he was hiding something. You didn't tell me." "I didn't know the truth until last night," Daniel said, voice shaking. "And when I found out, I didn't know how to say it without hurting you." "You think this hurts because of how you said it?" Lily finally turned, her eyes red but steady. "It hurts because you were part of it, even without meaning to." Daniel's breath caught. "I never wanted this. My father forces people into corners. He's done it to me for years. I didn't want you to be another one of his projects," she cut in, bitter. "Another piece to move around." "No," he said quickly. "Someone I wanted to protect." "Then why didn't you trust me with the truth?" Her voice wavered. "I'm the one who lost everything. My father is dead because of people who hid things." Daniel stepped forward, but she stepped back. The space between them felt wider than ever. "I was scared," he admitted. "Scared you'd hate me. Scared you'd leave before I could explain." Lily let out a breath that sounded more like a wound. "Daniel, I didn't need perfection. I just needed honesty." He swallowed hard, regret breaking through. "Tell me what to do. Tell me how to fix this." "You can't fix it," she whispered. "You can only choose who you want to be now." Daniel's voice cracked. "I want to be someone you aren't afraid to trust." Lily looked at him, hurt, hopeful, unsure. "Then show me," she said softly. "Don't say it, prove it." And with that, she walked past him, leaving him standing in the fading light, carrying the weight of everything he had broken, and everything he still hoped to rebuild. The days that followed were quiet, but not empty. Daniel gave Lily space, just as she needed. But he didn't disappear. Instead, he began making changes, real ones, choices that didn't rely on his father's direction or wealth. First, he went to the warehouse where Lily's father had died. The manager tried to stop him, but Daniel insisted on reviewing everything. The neglected safety reports, the overlooked warnings, the ignored maintenance requests, documents that confirmed Lily's father had tried to prevent the accident. Daniel photographed everything, signed statements, and demanded a full investigation. even if it meant publicly challenging the Hale name. Lily heard about it from Mrs. Keller, not from Daniel, and something inside her shifted. He wasn't doing it for show. He wasn't doing it to win her back. He was doing it because it was right. A few days later, Lily walked into the community center she used to visit when times were hard. She found Daniel there, quietly helping restock food shelves. He looked up, startled, but didn't rush toward her. "You don't have to be here," she said. "I know," he replied softly, placing a box down. "But I wanted to understand your world, not the way my father sees it, the way you lived it." Lily watched him for a long moment, noticing the smudges on his shirt, the careful way he worked beside people he once never noticed. "Daniel," she said finally, "why are you doing all this?" He straightened, meeting her eyes. "Because you were right. I needed to choose who I wanted to be, and I'm choosing now." His voice wasn't dramatic. It was steady, honest. Lily felt the wall around her heart soften, not vanish, but shift just enough to let warmth through. "Then maybe," she said quietly, "we can start over, slowly." Daniel nodded, hope flickering across his face. Slowly is good. And for the first time since everything fell apart, Lily didn't feel alone in the rebuilding. Not anymore. Spring arrived in Seattle with soft rain and bright mornings, and little by little, the weight around Lily's heart eased. The investigation Daniel pushed for became public, forcing Warren to face the truth he had spent months trying to bury. Under pressure, he stepped back from several company roles, leaving room for change that had been overdue for years. Daniel refused to let his father's choices define him any longer. He took a position far from the corporate offices, overseeing community outreach programs and working directly with the neighborhoods the family's empire had long ignored. It wasn't glamorous, but he loved it. And Lily saw that love every time she visited the center, carrying donated books or helping organize meals. Lily began rebuilding her own dreams too. With support from a small scholarship fund the center offered, she returned to studying early childhood education, something she had abandoned after her father's death. For the first time in years, she felt her future stretching forward, bright and reachable. One evening, after a long day of work, Daniel walked Lily to the edge of the pier overlooking the water. The sky glowed orange, the waves gentle against the wood beneath their feet. He stopped, turning to her with the kind of peace she had never seen on him before. "You know," he said softly, "when all this started, I didn't know who I was. Now, I think I finally do. And I want you in that life, not because of what happened, because of who you are." Lily's breath caught, not in fear this time, but in something warm and steady. She stepped closer, slipping her hand into his. "I'm here," she whispered. "Not because I have to be, because I want to be." Daniel's fingers tightened around hers as the sun dipped behind the water, painting the world gold. No contracts, no pressure, no secrets. Just two people who fought their way toward honesty, forgiveness, and a future they chose together. They shared their first quiet, certain kiss as the evening lights flickered on around them. A promise, a beginning, a home they created, not one forced upon them. Thank you for listening to this story. If it moved you, if you connected with Lily and Daniel, or if certain moments stayed with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Share your favorite part in the comments, and let me know what kind of stories you want next. Your support helps bring more meaningful stories to life. Remember to subscribe and comment to stay connected with Echoes of Hope. Your presence here means a lot. And I hope this journey left you with warmth, hope, and something to carry into your day.